Looking for video meetings? Now, choose Zoom to power your phone communications too. Zoom Phone works seamlessly within the Zoom app as your business phone system. Zoom Phone's secure HD audio and enterprise-grade reliability keep you connected to your teams and your customers. And it's easy to use on mobile, desktop, or desk phone. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Zoom, how the world connects.
Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is ONN.
I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. The Ohio Redistricting Commission has failed to reach the bipartisan consensus necessary to pass a 10-year map of state legislative districts. After hours of negotiations ahead of a deadline at midnight, the commission approved new district boundaries purely along party lines, which means the map will last for only 4 years. The two Democrats on the panel call the redrawn map unfair, and legal challenges are expected. The wife of a man who died at a southeastern Ohio county jail and Gallup police has filed a lawsuit alleging her husband's cries for help were ignored by jail guards. Here's ONN's Daniel Barnett.
The lawsuit
Okay, who is it? Okay, very good. That's fine. Just so I know to whom I am speaking. Let me see. But yeah, it's always better to get them earlier than to be wondering, are they going to call? So, sounds good. All right. All right, then life will go on.
It should be reported to the Ohio Department of Agriculture. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Washington County's largest gun show is back on Saturday and Sunday, September. Kids under 12 get in free with an adult. Everyone is welcome. They offer free appraisals and have great prices on all types of firearms, modern, military, and antique. They have over 450 tables, and the food's pretty good too. They have all these tables with cash buyers on site for your used guns. Visit arhsportshop.com or you can give them a call, 724-948-3571. That's 724-948-3571 for more information. That's the Washington County Gun Show presented by ARH Sports Shop, September 25th and 26th.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Toyotas are known for savings and reliability you can count on. So check out a gas model RAV4, a spacious Highlander, or even an all-wheel drive hybrid Venza, all with $500 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great deals. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end October 4th. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hello, I'm Chuck Reddick, Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. We're working hard to get ready for tax filing season. You know who else is working hard? Identity thieves. Keep your computers and your mobile phones secure. Use antivirus software and strong passwords. Look out for email scams. Secure your home Wi-Fi with a password. Stay safe when you shop online. Look for HTTPS in the web address. See irs.gov for details.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mix of sun and clouds with a daytime high near 79. Mainly clear overnight with a low of 62 degrees. You'll see clouds and sunshine for your Friday with highs in the low 80s. Have a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
are you awake?
Who's up for guacamole?
Why?
Today is National Guacamole Day.
Guacamole! I know you're afraid of guacamole. Ah, guacamole!
Yeah, is it just regular guacamole? It's just slimy. And squishy. This guacamole has got a kick.
Oh, guacamole!
It's fun to say.
Today is National Guacamole Day.
Wish my head was filled with guacamole.
Guacamole! Okay, here we go. Showtime.
This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe and Brad Leonard behind the board in the producer's chair.
How are ya? How are ya? How are ya? How are ya? Hour number 3 of the Thursday gig. 62 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 64 degrees here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 64 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Fog floating around the upper Ohio Valley. It is going to be a mixture of sun and clouds today. Sun might come in a little bit more aggressively this afternoon, according to Zach over at the Big 7. Don't look for rain. We're okay on that. We had some heavy rain yesterday. Daytime high 78, going to be muggy again today. Where have we been and where are we going? Well, we've talked about the flooding in Marshall County today as a result of yesterday's heavy rains. Here in Ohio County, I didn't really have too much problem. It was a nice steady downpour for a while, but no big deal. But boy, Marshall County had streets flooded and cars caught in streams and businesses with unable to get to their business and so on. So we've been talking about the flooding in Marshall County. Huntington has ended the B&O tax on retail and restaurant sales. We talked last hour with Mayor Glenn Elliott about whether that's a move that Wheeling may want to emulate. The mayor took a run through some of the numbers and said we'd have to really see a huge increase, over a 50% increase in sales tax in revenue before it would make sense to get rid of the B&O tax on retail and businesses. But it was a good conversation. I'll put it up on our podcast page a little bit later on this morning if you want to check it out. In the COVID update coming up in the next half hour, one Ohio County school going remote starting today. About 30% of all COVID cases nationwide are now children. West Virginia once again hitting record COVID numbers. Wheeling's Soup Kitchen is now requiring vaccinations before being allowed to eat in the dining room. They will still serve outside, but you can't come in unless you're vaccinated. I've got all of this in the daily COVID update coming up. Plus, we'll take a look at this year's Toy Hall of Fame finalists. But I want to shift gears here into a different issue. If you work hard on your health and your wellness, I know it can often seem like it's a full-time job. And you got to stay focused. A lot of things can get in the way of following your game plan. And that's kind of the focus of a podcast that's available called Health Interrupted. They offer stories of people that work through those interruptions in their health and wellness efforts. This week, their guest is an old friend of this radio show, Dreama Denver. She's the wife of the late Bob Denver, Gilligan of Gilligan's Island. She is with us. So is one of the podcast hosts, Gina Lombardi. And they are both here with us this morning. Let me just first of all say hello. Dreama, always good to have you on the show. Good morning.
Hi, Howard. It's so good to be with you.
We always talk when you're on with us, usually about, memories of Bob and Gilligan's Island and, sort of the entertainment side of things. Last time you were here, we did touch on your son's autism and so on, but we're going to talk more about health today. So we're going to kind of shift our gears here a little bit. And Gina Lombardi is co-host of this podcast I mentioned. Gina, good morning. Welcome to the show. What's the premise of this podcast, Health Interrupted? How'd you get started? Tell me a bit about it.
Good morning, Howard. Thanks so much for having us on. The podcast actually came about during the pandemic, so I could say some good things did come out of lockdown. But my co-host, Laura Kepler, who is the former Miss America, 2012, I work with her, and she's a good friend of mine. And we were noticing that every time we would get ready to work out, one of us would be interrupted by something, whether it was a child, whether it was the doorbell, whether it was not feeling well or something like that. And so that sparked the idea of doing a whole podcast on health interruptions. So that's how it got started, and it's just been amazing. The stories of resilience are incredible, Dreama being in the forefront.
We'll talk to Dreama and let her share some of this with us in a minute here. Tell me sort of what is there a theme that you have found as you've interviewed other folks and they've told their stories? Is there a thread that runs through them all?
Yeah. Yes, a common thread. That's a good point. What we've noticed is in the really tragic stories of resilience and the health interruptions, like, we've had several people on who have lost limbs, whether it was in the war or an accident or something like that. But even other people that have had lesser tragedies, their story of resilience and their motivation for getting through it has commonly been their faith. And that is really, I know. And then having a support team, having a family or friends or a support system keeping them in place.
Dreama, let's talk about you. As I said, we usually talk with you about the entertainment stuff, but we did get into this a little bit last time. Your autistic child, was that sort of the first, health interruption that you had in your life?
Actually, that was when Colin was born. Of course, like any parent, Bob and I thought that he was perfectly okay, and it wasn't until he was 2 years old that he was diagnosed, and it was a life changer. I tell you, it was full-time care. Bob and I provided full-time care. 24/7, 365 for over 20 years until Bob passed away. So it changed our lives completely. And at the time, when you're going through it, at least for me, I couldn't necessarily see the silver lining in it all. It took me actually years after Bob died to really start understanding what that silver lining was in having a child like our son. So, yes, that was the first health interruption. And then I have all kinds of touchstones that people can identify with.
Well, tell me about some of the others.
Oh, okay. Well, in 2005, my husband passed away. And during that time, we were in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at Wake Forest Baptist for 6 months. And 4 months into my husband's illness, because there was so much stress being down there with him while my son was here in West Virginia with caregivers that at that time I didn't know so well. The stress finally got to me, as it always does, and I had a heart attack. Ended up in the room right next door to Bob. So that was, it's not funny. I don't mean to be laughing, but it was...
No, I'm just thinking it's nice you could be side by side.
No, it really was. Actually, they, bless them all, the nurses loved us. They knew us pretty well by then. And they wheeled my bed into his room so we could have our beds next to each other and hold hands. So that was an interesting thing. I write about all of that in my book, Gilligan's Dreams. I talk about the journey we made through autism and through Bob's illness and all of that. And then 10 years to the day after Bob passed away on that 10-year anniversary, I was sitting at Vanderbilt Breast Center in Nashville, Tennessee, starting treatments for breast cancer. So I've been down that road too, and I was very blessed in that situation because truly I hear other women's stories about what they went through, and mine seems pretty mild in comparison, only because I caught it early and we did something about it early on, and that was a blessing because I was not, ladies, I just want to say this, I was not a person who checked regularly in the shower, doing the breast exams and all of that. I didn't do that because there was absolutely no history of any kind of cancer in my family. So I never worried about breast cancer at all. And when they told me that I had it, I could not have been more shocked. So I just want the ladies to know out there that, family history, being clean when it comes to that doesn't necessarily give you a pass. It can happen. As a matter of fact, the doctors told me at the time that most breast cancer is 80% spontaneous as opposed to a result of family history.
And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We will be having on the podcast, on Health Interrupted Podcast, which, by the way, you can get on any podcast platform, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Audible, iHeartRadio, etc. Or you can go to our website, healthinterruptedpodcast.com, to listen to it. But we're going to have a doctor on that's a specialist and created a technique. She's in Ohio, actually, on doing mastectomies. And it's apparently catching on, and it's incredible. I don't know that much about it yet, but we will as soon as we have her on in October. But Dreamer, you're so resilient, and your faith has really gotten you through a lot, hasn't it?
I want to talk about that, Dreamer. Is it faith? I mean, Gina said that faith has been a recurring theme with many of their stories. Is that important to you?
Oh, it is the big one. Yes. It was kind of, I grew up in church like so many of us did who grew up here in West Virginia, and I believed in God and all of that, but like a lot of us, probably most of us, I lived my life without necessarily walking with him or consulting with him or any of those things. And after Bob passed away, it was a few years down the road. If you want to hear my story, I'll try to give you the sort of the Reader's Digest version of it. But I was out walking my dog for about a year. I had a morning show on the radio and was encouraging all the listeners to practice gratitude. So I was doing that for about a year. Every morning I would take my dog for a walk, and I would thank the universe for, all the beauty in my life and the mountain breeze and the sunshine and the fact that I had a home, all those things. And one day, now this was without any forethought. I mean, I didn't feel this coming. But one day I was out walking, and thank goodness the road to my house was pretty private, and I fell to my knees out of nowhere, and I was crying like a baby. And suddenly I was thanking God, not the universe, for all the tough parts of my life, for my son's diagnosis, for my husband's death, for just all the hard things I had been through, because for some reason in that moment, I realized that all of those things had shaped me and that I had been going down a path for probably decades that I did not know I was on. And I was on my knees crying for about 45 minutes. And when I got up, I knew something had changed. I didn't really understand exactly what had just happened to me, but I knew something was different. And from that moment on, I started, studying God's Word. I started finding other believers who could answer my questions, who could tell me, what faith meant in their lives. And I was trying to figure out exactly what it meant in mine. And I have to tell you, there's nothing like, being diagnosed with anything, really, but in my case, breast cancer, to make you really understand that you are finite. We all know that, but I think it's kind of abstract. It's always going to be the other guy. And this time, it was me, and I started understanding that I will not be here forever, much as I think I should be, and I really needed to, figure out what my faith was and what I believed and all of those things, because eternity is a long time. And it just changed my life. Now, that doesn't mean that everything's perfect and I never have a problem and I never cry because I get overwhelmed. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that I have a place to rest when I feel those things happening to me. I have somebody to turn to who's always there, because, since Bob died, I've been alone. And anybody out there who's listening who has gone through lockdown alone, believe me, alone is really alone during something like that. So I just feel so blessed to have found my faith, and I think it's so important.
It's a really hard lesson for people to learn. It's a hard concept for people to grasp, and it sounds like you did in that on your knees moment. To understand that the troubles put before us actually have a purpose. I mean, there are people that want to throw up their hands and say, God, why are you condemning me? God, why are you making me go through this? Others look and go, God, thank you for putting these hurdles in my way so I better understand what's expected of me. And that's a really, really difficult lesson to learn. Very difficult lesson to learn.
You know,
that was
but
well
once you
said,
start-
Howard.
And that really is
Well said.
And when you start tapping into it, like now, the thing that's kind of thrilling to me now, which I didn't do before, falling to my knees that day, is I try to see those things in real time. I try to see the blessing, even in the middle of the tribulation, the trial. I try to see the blessing in the moment. I actually look for it now, which I never did before. And there's always, I know it sounds corny and cliche, but there truly is always a blessing. And sometimes you can't see it when you're in the middle of the mess, whatever the mess is, but it's always there somewhere. At least that's what I have found to be true in my life.
But again, it's a really, it is counterintuitive almost to say that. So it's interesting to see. You know, you talked about, we all flippantly at some point, at many points in our life, we all flippantly say things like, well, we're all going to die. I mean, we're all going to die.
Exactly.
And then I know as I have had a number of medical issues, and also as I'm getting significantly older, I realize, well, yeah, we're all going to die, but I think I'm creeping up on it sooner than I had thought.
I know that feeling. There you go.
Which makes you stop and really reassess a lot of things. Gina, in the interviews that you've done in the past, what's it been, 6-8 months or so you've done this podcast?
Yeah, we dropped our first podcast in February of this year and have had over 10,000 downloads, which is incredible for a new podcast. And I really believe it's because the stories, every story that we have, Howard, you will find a little bit of yourself in it. And it's just incredible to hear what people have been through, big and small, you know, health interruptions, big and small. And at the end of every episode, we give tips in 4 categories. And that is the thing that most people look forward to after hearing this amazing story about our guest. Each guest gives us tips on nutrition, fitness, beauty, and mental, spiritual, and then gives us a call to action. So you're actually getting some tools when you leave the episode that you can use today. So it's really been fun.
That was actually the question I was leading up to. Do you have any lessons that you've learned from the interviews and from your experiences as a fitness trainer and so on? I mean, do you have any generic or general lessons you want to impart to our audience here before we move on?
Gosh, there's so many. But I have to say that our tagline, and this has been my tagline as a trainer for the last, I'll say 30 years in this celebrity area, and that is consistency equals results. And that is the tagline that I end every episode with, because no matter where you're at with your health, if you are consistent with the good things, like, for example, a big tip that we get, and Dreamer, you said this one when you were on, and it is to drink a lot of water every day. It's basic, but a lot of people forget to do it. And so that's one thing. And if you stay consistent with that, you will get great results. It will improve weight loss. It will improve health. The other thing is getting a lot of sleep. One thing that actually a few people have said, and I was a little surprised as a call to action, but it was to be of service to others. Because you can really get a lot out of that personally if you give back to others. And I thought that was a really cool call to action. And then, of course, a lot of people give very specific beauty tips, even our men that come on. I always can't wait to hear a beauty tip from our men. One of our comedians said his beauty tip was to steal his wife's night cream after she goes to sleep, and he's been using it for years and he's never told her. So that was his beauty tip. So we get to hear a lot of interesting things.
Here's my beauty tip. Don't whatever I do, don't do that.
Right. That's one way of looking at it too. And we even had, do you remember Bethany Hamilton, she was a 13-year-old surfer. There was a movie out called The Soul Surfer. She lost her left arm. That was an incredible interview as well, because here she was, a young girl, and within 2 weeks, she was back up on her surfboard competing after losing her arm to a shark. So there's a lot of stories of resilience from all walks of life, and it's just an incredible incredible thing to hear these stories and to get all these tips and life lessons from everyone. And Dreama, you had so many. I love your episode. It was just incredible.
Oh, thank you.
If you all are interested in
My
the
beauty
podcast,
tip, by the way, Howard, my beauty tip was to smile.
Yeah.
Instant facelift, lady.
Yes, it was great.
That's a smile always makes everyone look better. If folks are looking for the podcast, they can find it at any of their favorite podcast distributors, or if you're unclear, just go to Health Interrupted Podcast. That's the total name.com. Am I correct, Gina?
That is correct. Do we have time to do a giveaway, Howard?
Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't know we were going to do it, but yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun for anybody listening. If I know Dream is going to do one too, but if anybody goes to our Health Interrupted Podcast Instagram page and tags 2 people, we will put you in a drawing for a Health Interrupted swag bag that has a lot of cool stuff in it.
So go to Health Interrupted on Instagram and tag 2 other people. Sounds good. Sounds good. Dreama, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We'll do it again, I'm sure, sometime. I get a great kick out of our conversations. And how's Little Buddy Radio doing?
It's doing just great. It's just plugging along. Great music. When it comes to that radio station, I am just so proud of it musically because it truly is. I have musicians come to me all the time to say how much they love it because it's very eclectic and it's not quite like anything else that I've heard in this part of the state. And, of course, we stream. You can get us on TuneIn Radio on that app. And I love it. It's, music. I really feel like the radio station saved my life after Bob passed away because I was able to immerse myself in it and play in the music and carry on what we had started together. So it's I have a real emotional tie to Little Buddy Radio, for sure.
Great. Dreama, thanks for joining us. Good luck with Little Buddy Radio and all that you do, the Denver Foundation and so on. Gina, thank you for joining us. Good luck with Health Interrupted Podcast. And if you get some other interesting stuff, we'll talk about it again someday. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Howard. So much fun. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's 9:30. Bye-bye now. 9:30 in the morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. I always get a great kick out of talking to Dreama. She's just got a really positive and upbeat attitude, Biffy?
Yes, she does, and you can losing my man. I'm losing my voice over here. Yeah, you can really tell just in the way she talks, and it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Gina Lombardi was the other person we were talking to. She is one of the co-hosts of this Health Interrupted podcast. She is I'd like to talk to her someday too. She's a health and fitness expert, but she works with some of these celebrities. She's been a celebrity. She's had several celebrity clients like Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, among others, who she's worked with. I'd like to get her on someday and just talk about that. What's it like to have these people as your clients? But anyways, if you're interested in the podcast, the concept is every time we try to do something, we get interrupted. Every time we work more on our health, something gets in the way. So it's Health Interrupted is the name of the podcast. Again, find it on any of the podcast platforms, Apple, iTunes, what have you. Or just go to, that's what I did yesterday, just go to their website, which is Health Interrupted Podcast, all one word, .com. You can listen to it right off of there, or it can send you to different places. Good talking to her. Good talking to them, I should say. All right, 9:33, 27 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. In the next half hour, we'll see what they're working on at the Big 7, WTRF TV, when Bob Westfall joins us. I have a COVID update I want to get to, and a few other odds and ends before we turn things over to Mr. Kirchhoff at 10. Right now, we'll turn things over to Metro News for some headlines.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia.
Law enforcement is so critical to the safety and security of Berkeley County, but all across America. And it's been a tough year for them. I'm always supportive of law enforcement. I want to see where I can help.
Capito also met with Mayor Kevin Knowles, who was appointed to fill the remaining term of the late Mayor Harriet Johnson. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
On Roberto Clemente night at PNC Park, the Pirates down to visiting Cincinnati Reds 5-4. Wilmer Defoe scored the winning run on a ground out with one out in the ninth inning. How about that win, Derek Shelton?
To win that game like that was really special, and to win on a day that's really important to, the city of Pittsburgh, the Pirates, the Clemente family, the island of Puerto Rico. It was really cool.
By the way, the Reds are in a huge slump. They have lost 7 of their last 9 games. And how about Pirate reliever Chris Stratton? He pitched a perfect ninth inning, striking out 2 Cincinnati Red hitters. His record is now 6-1. The Reds and the Pirates close out their 3-game series this afternoon at PNC Park. A Steeler note, Ben Roethlisberger spoke to the media Wednesday. He admitted that his elbow feels great.
Yeah, it feels great. It's probably the only part of my body that felt good when I came out of the game, so that's encouraging and positive.
Ben and the 1-0 Steelers will host the 1-0 Raiders Sunday at Heinz Field. Speaking of NFL football,
Member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Toyotas are known for reliability, value, and our large selection of all-wheel drive vehicles for those unexpected weather conditions. Like a gas model RAV4, right now with $500 cash back. Or a 22 Corolla with $500 cash back. Or go with a stylish Camry with up to $1,250 total cash allowance. Visit buyatoyota.com and find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end October 4th. Toyota. Let's go places.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
West Virginia Outdoors is the Mountain State's only hook and bullet radio show, dedicated to the more than 250,000 hunters and anglers across the state. Award-winning host Chris Lawrence has been tracking down hunting and fishing stories for more than 25 years.
Went in behind a little birch tree and head. I reached down and
got the bow position and found its horns and dropped down and shot it in the neck.
Whether it's hunting and fishing news,
It tracks real super well, but not with a 60-pound carp tied to the side.
or just compelling stories about the enjoyment of the great outdoors.
How close did you let him get in before you let fly on him?
He was about 18 yards, Chris. He got turned in the right angle there, and I touched off the trigger. And when I hit him, he ran kind of up the hill, which scared me at first.
West Virginia Outdoors covers it all. Saturday mornings at 7:06 a.m. And for your daily fix, Outdoors Today brings you 2.5 minutes of news and notes from the woods and water every weekday morning. No one covers the great outdoors like Chris Lawrence. And Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
The Mountaineers are climbing.
And the final seconds coming off of the clock here at the 62nd Liberty Bowl.
And the best is yet to come.
It's hit and dropped. They got him again. There goes Lenny Brown. He's going to score 6. Fires it toward the end zone. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Join us all season long on your home for Mountaineer football. MSN, the Mountaineer Sports Network.
Conversation you care about from people you know. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Yeah, once again, Biffy, I'm not a winner.
No.
Let us do it for Baby Dog. Winners have been announced, or most of them have been announced. We do have one from Moundsville. Let me see. Let me skim down here to find this. Oops, hold on. Just hold on for one moment, please, Biff. Hold on one moment, please. Up here to share your video. Hello there. Hello, hello. Just hold on, Beppy. Hello, hello. Hi, how are you? Okay, I'm actually on the air right now, so but the testing, is this okay with you? Yes, you're good. You're good. All right, that'll work. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Thank you. All right, thanks. Okay. We were testing the Skype system.
Was that Offie?
No, that was Taylor Kennedy, who is the video producer.
Oh, okay.
He said, I'll just give you a quick call. We'll test it. And I want to go, no, I'm up. Never mind. There's the phone ring.
Well, at least you know it works.
Yeah, it's working. That's for sure. Okay, now where was I? Oh, Baby Dog. The Baby Dog contest winners for the morning have been announced. Let's see. Carolyn McCafferty from Moundsville is a winner of the season tickets to WVU, either football or basketball. So Carolyn McCafferty of Moundsville is a winner of the football or basketball season tickets. I don't think anybody else from the Panhandle. I just think it's amazing we got one. Nobody else from the Panhandle. Let's see, Brendan McCutcheon from Morgantown and Caitlin Roberts from Spurlockville. Where's Spurlockville, Biffy? Do you have any idea?
I've never heard of Spurlockville.
And Caden Staggers of Kaiser, they are winners of the full ride scholarship. The high-end sports car winner has not yet been announced, so maybe that could be me. Still possible. We'll have to see. This week's dream wedding winner, God help us, $150,000 dream wedding winner is Nikki Seitz of Petersburg. And, okay, that's it. All right. So we'll get a few more announced later today, which probably means, let's see, he's holding off on two of the scholarships. Those two people are going to get visited by Baby Dog probably today. And the sports car, somebody's going to get visited by Baby Dog and get keys to the sports car too.
Your Spurlockville
yes.
is in Lincoln County. And if you've ever heard of the town of Hamlin, which is in Lincoln County, Spurlockville is south of Hamlin.
Okay. All right. Lincoln County, with due respect to the folks who are there, is a relatively poorer county. So for someone from Spurlockville to win a full-ride college scholarship, that's a good deal, I think. I don't think it helps anybody get vaccinated, but at least they get the scholarship. I still think this whole contest concept is just ridiculous in terms of trying to get people to get vaccinated. But it gives the governor, I mean, the guy doesn't know what he wants to do. He owns a business, owns multiple businesses, used to be a billionaire, not anymore. He's lost so much money. He's the governor of the state, and he wants to be a game show host because that's what he loves to do, to go around the state with Baby Dog and go, wow, are you Brad Leonard? Why, guess what I got for you? Pick door number 1, 2, or 3, and then come kiss Baby Dog. He wants to be a game show host. And, of course, he wants to be, Biffy?
A boys basketball coach.
Boys basketball coach as well. So there you go. I'll talk to Hoppy Kirchhoff on Skype, as you all just learned today, which seemed to be working. So I guess we're okay. We can use it. I'll talk to Hoppy today about the governor's desire to be a basketball coach. That'll be on statewide talk line. And real quick, since I'm talking about Hoppy, here's Hoppy's final lineup for today. Whit Ayers, who's a pollster with North Star Opinion Research, will kick off the show, and I don't know what it is they're looking at. So some kind of a new opinion poll that is out. Brad will be in to talk about the governor and his grievance against the Greenbrier County School Board. The president and CEO of the Washington Hospital Association will be in. Jeff Jenkins will talk about a controversy over Bridge Day. The Bridge Day officials did not want to have Bridge Day because of COVID. The governor said, well, I think you're going to have it anyways. And so, well, they're going to have it. A little controversy there. Jeff Jenkins will be in to talk about that. Secretary of State Mac Warner on the elections bill pending in Congress. And me, I will be on with Hoppy as well, talking about governor, justice, and basketball coaching. I know that because it says it right here. Howard Monroe, governor, justice on basketball coaching. And point 2, vaccinated versus unvaccinated. So I'll be on with Hoppy today. Hey, I want to remind you this week's Watchdog Athlete of the Week is Rashad Pettigrew from Blair. On offense, Rashad had 1 reception for 30 yards, 1 touchdown as well. Defense this past week, he had 5 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, resulting from one of his interceptions in the 14-7 win over Wheeling Central. So from all of us here at the Watchdog, congratulations, Rashad Pettigrew. He is the Watchdog Athlete of the Week. Every week we pull out some of these, the best performances of the week, and let you know who we think is the Athlete of the Week. Sometimes I say we, I don't have anything to do with this, but sometimes our team, our sports team, sometimes has to really work hard to pick from several good candidates. Because we have an awful lot of good players around the Upper Ohio Valley, don't we, Biffy?
Yes, we do, and some of them get offers, and a lot go on to play college ball, and it's nice to see.
Can I do a real quick COVID update while we're waiting for Bob to join me?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Bob, but let's do this.
COVID-19 update.
Just get a couple of quickies in here because I didn't get to them earlier. Warwood School says that their 7th grade is going to remote learning as of today because of concerns about COVID. All 7th grade students at Warwood School begin remote learning today. They'll return in person on Monday. While they're remote, they're going to try to continue to meet the best educational needs they possibly can. That's from the principal at Warwood High School. So the 7th grade, the only, I want to be clear about that, the 7th grade at Warwood School is going on remote as of today. If you use the soup kitchen in Wheeling, and listen carefully to this, the soup kitchen of Wheeling is not allowing anyone into the building without what they call a V card. There's a lanyard that you can use, that you have around your neck to get in. If it has a V on it, it means you're vaccinated. Now, it does not mean they're not going to serve you, but you can't go into the soup kitchen dining room and eat in the dining hall without being vaccinated. But they're still giving out to-go meals to anyone who is unvaccinated. The executive director of the soup kitchen points out that earlier this year, the soup kitchen staff itself all came down with COVID. And they don't want to go through that again. So the soup it sounds strange. The soup kitchen would say you must be vaccinated, you can't come in. They're not refusing to serve. I want to be clear about that. They're just refusing dining hall privileges, if you will, if you are not vaccinated. West Virginia reported another all-pandemic high yesterday, 893 COVID patients in hospitals across the state. Senate Majority Leader Tom Takubo, who is a doctor, said the ERs are overwhelmed. There are no places to put the patients. Now, I got a text earlier. I can tell you for a fact that the hospitals aren't full. Not every hospital is, but the ERs are getting full. ICU beds are becoming in short supply. I'm not suggesting that the hospitals, at least not all hospitals, are absolutely full. But what's happening, and I know this for a fact because I have a friend who did it, what they're doing is delaying elective surgery and so on. This COVID problem is not just for those who actually have COVID. And let's see, the number of patients in West Virginia right now requiring a ventilator is at 160. Of those 160, 149 are unvaccinated. That's 93%. And finally, in the COVID update, almost 30% of all of the COVID cases around the country right now, this is nationwide now, 29% to be precise, almost 30% children. It's a growing number of cases in the country. Children are testing positive now. And yes, the good news is, I guess if you want to call it that, is that we're not seeing deaths from that. I love the fact that people seem to think, as long as you don't die, what's the big deal, you know? 30% of all the COVID cases across the country, almost 30%, are actually children. That's a frightening thought. So that's the COVID update for the moment. Let's see what they're working over at the Big Seven. Bob Westfall is here. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Howard. How are you on this Thursday?
I am here. I'm ready to go get something to eat as soon as I'm done talking to you.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, that's kind of surprising.
Who would have thought that, huh?
Yeah.
I hear my wife doing something over in the kitchen. Hopefully it's preparing my sausage gravy and biscuits.
Wow.
I'm not sure that's what she's doing, but she's doing something over there.
Okay.
What are you working on today? I didn't see your name, by the way, on the baby dog list, so I guess you didn't win this time around either.
Oh, I work at Channel 7. I'm a winner every day.
Great line. I love that. That's very good. Very good.
All right, some of the things we're working on. Let's see here. We're going to do a follow-up on the McMecken flooding. It seems like every time it rains, the 21st, 22nd Street down there by Marshall, just off of Route 2, gets some kind of flooding. We were down there last night. As you know, Wheeling proper got very little rain. It looks like that area got hit with a pretty good pocket of downpour. But every time it rains, it seems like it's flooding. We talked to Don Cooley, whose business is right there last night. He's at his wit's end. So we're going to try and talk to city officials today, see what they're doing, what their plans are to see about getting that situation fixed. Because I drove home last night, and from Bridgeport to Brilliant, it was bone dry, but it looks like it rolled through Marshall County and Belmont County pretty good. So see what we can do when it comes to the flooding.
Yeah, it was interesting, localized problems yesterday. When I left the house yesterday afternoon here, it was a nice downpour. I mean, I got wet because I didn't have an umbrella going to the car, but it wasn't a gully washer. Got to St. Clairsville, and the roads were dry. There was not even any run had happened there. But boy, you could look to the south and see the dark clouds down there. And obviously Marshall County and Shady Side, those areas got hit pretty hard. Very localized rain. Lots of rain in a short period of time. That's bad news, Bob.
Right, which is another reason to have that Storm Tracker 7 app on your phone, because if you had that, you knew what was coming. So, So again, that's something you need to download if you haven't already. A couple other things. We're continuing our food pantry series. As you know, Nexstar and our leadership are donating, I think it's $2.3 million toward Food Pantry Feed America. Ours today is a giveaway that was held last week in New Martinsville. Catherine will turn that for us today. So, again, I like to think we're coming out of the pandemic, but it really, the numbers aren't saying that. A lot of people face a lot of hardships, so Feed America stepped in and did a great job and continues to do a great job. So we're going to shine a light on the great work they do and people who need help. So that's going to be another great story. Catherine went down last week and covered the event, so we're excited about that story as well. Another story that I really like, the ASPCA put out a survey last week. The survey basically said, of the people that they talked to, 83% of the people surveyed know they live in an area that's prone to flooding or tornadoes or hurricanes, and yet they have no plans to protect their animals. So I thought that's an interesting story. So we're going to talk to the Marshall County Animal Shelter today. We thought since they've stepped in to help people in Louisiana with their animals, they would probably know better than just about anyone what people need to know to have a plan. Bad weather hits about your animals. I mean, it's much better to have a plan in place than trying to find the animal after the case. So I really like that.
And it's something that's easy to forget about, not to think about.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. You think about, the plans to get the kids out of the house and this and that and everything like that, but sometimes we kind of drop our pets down to the bottom of the list. So I do like that story. Get to meet one of our first National Merit Scholars today, Nate Flowers from John Marshall. We've got 3 in the area. Nate is at John Marshall. We've got a student at Brook High School, and we've got a student at Steubenville Central. So we're going to meet all of them over the next few days. Today is our first one, Nate Flowers. To me, these always impressive when we get local people involved in something as prestigious as the Merit Scholarship. So we're going to meet our first one today.
That sounds good.
A couple other things we're working on. What else are we working on? Oh, the Ohio Valley Heart Walks tonight. We will be live there tonight. Aaron Myler is emceeing the event. He has kind of been our face, our partner in crime, if you will, with the American Heart Association when it comes to all events, Heart Walk. So we will be live there tonight. As you know, it's a huge issue, especially here in West Virginia, Eastern Ohio. So we're gonna be there tonight. We're excited about that as well.
Sounds like a pretty full day, as always, over at the Big 7.
Some things tonight real quick while I got a couple minutes here. The Good Samaritan Dinner, honoring Sheriff Tom Burgoyne. Always enjoyed talking to Tom. So the Good Samaritan Youth Services Dinners tonight. It is going to be at the ice rink. They moved it. We will be there. And our friends in St. Clairsville Chamber.
You can't get a better guy than Tom Burgoyne. I mean, you just can't get a better guy than Tom Burgoyne.
No. I always when I picked up when I had to call him, I knew he would be the one to pick up the phone. And he's always been great to work with. And Cyril Weck is going to be at the St. Clairsville Chamber Dinner tonight. We'll be there as well. So a little bit of everything today. Weather looks like it's calming down. Sports, we have Thursday night football. I think there may actually be a high school football game tonight too. So again, crazy Thursday.
Lots of good stuff. All right, appreciate it, Bob. We'll be looking for things at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show. Always at WTRF.com on your Facebook page, and everyone should have the new WTRF TV app as well as the Storm Tracker 7 app to be fully informed. I will talk to you tomorrow to wrap up the week. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, Biffy, I got to go. Back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, another go-around of the big gig. First, I'll be back with Hoppy here in about 45 minutes or so. But tomorrow morning, you back with me, Biffy?
Back to close out the week.
We will keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
He's Jim Ryan.
Economists and
Okay, Biffy. Managed to get by. Tomorrow, I assume McCabe. I'll double check with him. I haven't heard from him. And I've got a college professor. I don't know where she's from. She's going to talk about children and COVID and children and protests and all that kind of stuff. That's at 8:10. It's not a Radio Row, so we don't have to worry about it. But I think she's calling us. I better double check that. If I need to send you her number, I will. And at the moment, that's the game plan. All right, everything's going okay, right? My daily check. All right, what did we decide, or did we decide yesterday? I probably wrote it down and I forgot. What are we going to call the athlete of the week? Did we decide? Okay, so just call it like athlete 0916, something like that. Okay. All right, I will. Actually, what I will do is I'm going to try and radio spider it later today, but I'm going to send it to you as I do it so you at least have it to do something with, okay? All right, if you need me, I should be around all day. Just give me a call. Otherwise, I'll talk to you in the morning. All right, thanks for your help as always. I really appreciate it. All right, bye.
But Marcus by Goldman Sachs approaches investing in a smart way with digitally managed portfolios that leverage Goldman Sachs strategies. So, do you want to play games or do you want your money to work smart? You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers built for business with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
A new twist in the controversy over General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. An upcoming book says in the waning days of the Trump presidency, Milley was worried the former president might launch some sort of attack and reached out to a top Chinese general to calm nerves. That revelation drawing the ire of Trump. ABC's Jonathan Karl says, however,
ABC News has learned Milley was not the first Pentagon official to reach out to China. It was actually former Defense Secretary Mark Esper who first reached out to China shortly before the election to assure them the United States would not launch a military attack. Milley's first contact came after that and was authorized by then Secretary Esper. A top former defense official told ABC News. It was Donald Trump who chose General Milley to be the Joint Chiefs chairman. But now he is saying Milley should be tried for treason.
The U.S., the U.K., and Australia announcing a new deal to share technology, including information on nuclear-powered subs. And as we hear from ABC's Ines de la Quatera, that has another ally, America's oldest, angry.
President Biden on the U.S.'s relationship with France.
The United States looks forward to working closely with France and other key countries as we go forward.
France said it regrets the new agreement between the U.S., the U.K., and Australia involving nuclear-powered submarines. The